Screen is visible?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so today's session, as you all know, that we will be talking about the Sun Temple. So the title is the Enigma of the Sun Temple. So there are so many ancient secrets that are there in all the temples, actually not only the Sun Temple, but today's focus is mainly on the Sun Temple, especially the Konark Sun Temple, which is in Odisha. So I welcome you again. So what is said that this temple, the Konark Sun Temple, no doubt it is an architectural marvel, a timeless beauty of Indian heritage and culture, but it is also said that the temple is never been worshipped. We are all aware that temple is built or made so that people can go there, offer their worship and prayers. But this is one of the very interesting fact that this temple is said that it has never been worshipped. No idol is there. So let's unreveal what's actually happening or happened in this particular temple. So in today's session, the point that we will be discussing is the historical context of the temple, the architectural features. We will also include some of the points of the fashion things and some of the myths and legend that is associated with this temple. There are so many stories, you can say local stories, that is embedded with this temple. And the local, when you visit this temple, the local will say so many beautiful stories and legend. And we are not aware that some of the stories are true or some of the stories are false. There is nothing that can testify some of the thing. So without any delay, let's first start. So it has been divided into three sections. The first section will cover the historical background. Like when we talk about any temple devoted to any god, first is what the god is. We have to understand that. Then we will talk about the architectural features of the temple, the structures, the carvings, and lastly, the historical importance of the state, or as I said, the local stories. Okay, this is the general introduction. Like, we all are aware what sun is. We all worship in so many culture, in Indian culture, we pray to sun. Like you are all aware of Bihar state that we pray to sun god during Chhat Puja. Yes or no, right? So we all are aware that sun, we look to him as a god. In Hindu culture, we have a very great importance of his existence. And when sun is there, beautiful things happen. The nature is blooming, the life is happening, and sun is also associated with the knowledge. And these all references we get in the Indian context. Like we have so many ancient scriptures, okay, manuscripts are there. So we find all these references of God, sun in there. Sun is also considered to be very disciplined. Like in the morning, we wake up on time or not, that is secondary, but sun will come on its time in a very disciplined manner, right? So we consider or we see sun as a god of discipline, as a as something that gives life. Imagine a day like when sun is not there, like it's cloudy. How do we feel? We feel a little bit of dull or dullness, right? But when the day is sunny, we have happiness, our mood is active. Okay, so these are some of the things that we associated with sun. And in the scriptures that I'm going to show you, there has been written why sun is taken as a god or why it has to be worshipped, because it is also embedded in our culture. And because of this reason, we can see multiple sun temple devoted to sun god in and around India. I'm not talking that only in India, but in other culture also, sun is been worshipped. So let's see. So here you can see that in Egyptian history, Ra is the word that is being used for our sun god. They also worship or have some references about sun as a god or as a person or as a thing that gives life. That is of a very important thing. So Ra is the term in Egyptian culture. Apollo is the term that is been used in Greek mythology. Then Sol or Sol invaders in Roman mythology that we see in various culture around the world. Now we see that sun is also known as Surya or Aditya in our Hindu religion. Like it has got multiple names. Okay. And we also see the reference of sun in Mahabharata. As you know, that he has played a significant role, and he was or he is the father of Karn, because Karn was a son of sun god. Okay. So in addition to that, we have so many temples in and around. Like in India, Konark has always been a mystery. But apart from Konark also, we have multiple temples which are popularly known and some are also lesser known. Then we find certain references from Vedas. Like in Rig Veda, that is our first Vedas. We all know that there are 4 Vedas. Okay, so Rig Veda is one of them and the first one. In that scriptures, we have Mandala 1, wherein hymn 50, it has been addressed that sun is symbolizes truth, vitality, and enlightenment. As previously told, that we see or consider sun as a disciplined one, as a someone who is looking to the universe, to us from above the sky. It gives us that encouragement. So next in Achurva Veda, we have seen in chapter 7 of verse 42, again the rituals and the prayers that we do or offer to Surya. Then in Atharva Veda, book 13, there has been so many hymns, matlab different types of poems that is praising the sun as a very powerful deity and a protector. Next, the references we see is in Purans. So in Vishnu Puran, sun is again the main deity we know, and in Navgraha. Like when we talk about the 9 planets, so the 9 planets is again associated with sun because it is moving in and around sun only. So it is the main point or the master graha, we can say, in one sense. Then in Vavishya Puran, we also find some instructions that how the god has to be worshipped, in what is the method. Okay. And these are the things that has been mentioned. And in Markandeya Puran also, there has been highlights or there has been hymns again, that is why the sun is worshipped, how it is related with good health and prosperity. We all are aware that skin disease and vitamin D that we obtain from sun, we have to just sit. Nowadays, people, even the doctors also giving this kind of instruction that people should sit 20 minutes under the sun and get the benefits, right? So we see all this from where it is coming. It is from our Puranas, that it is not a new thing. Our old ancient science have already shown and given us this thing. Next, we also find the references from the epics, that is Mahabharata and the Ramayana. So in Mahabharata, we, as discussed previously, we know that Karn was a son of Surya. Okay, and he used to perform every day morning Surya Namaskara. Similarly, Lord Rama in Ramayana, we find that he used to offer water to the sun, which is also known as Surya Arg, giving water, offer water to the sun god early in the morning. That is also been seen in Ramayana. Apart from all these things, we also have seen some references or contexts in Surya Siddhartha, then Briha Samiti by Baramira, where the architectural, the astronomies has also been referred. And lastly, we cannot forget today's ASI, that the archaeological evidences that we see. When any temple, ancient temple has been digging out or dug out, we get so many kind of references, or you can say the scriptures that has been left behind, and how this temple are built so accurately, so perfectly, without modern science or modern technology. It is so balanced in astronomically and religion alignment also. So these are the basic things that we find the reference, how sun is considered as a god, or how he is prayed. So all these references we find in our ancient texts only. It is not a new thing. Now talking about the our main topic, that is the Konark. So Konark, as you know, it is also known as the Black Pagoda. Why Black Pagoda? If anyone have visited the temple or seen the picture, or the picture that you are seeing in the right hand side, you see the top is looking black. Okay. And pagoda is the structure, the step-like structure. And the structure is been made out of black granite and it gives a black pagoda kind of feeling. So it is also known as Black Pagoda. This has been made in the 13th century by Narasimha Deva I of the Ganga dynasty. That is, you can say the Kalinga side, or this structure is also looks like the Kalinga architecture. Now the Konark, the name itself has got a meaning. When we break the word, it means Kona and Arg. Arg is the another name of Surya. And Kona means corner. That in some of the language, we say Kona means corner. So this is how the name has come up, the Konark Temple. It is Sanskrit words. And now this site is also an UNESCO heritage site. So this temple is also taken into consideration, or you can say a landmark for many European and Portuguese sailors, because they have to travel for trade purpose, right? So when they used to travel, at that time, they used to take this temple and Jagannath Puri temple, both the temple, as their major landmark in the Bay of Bengal, because they have to move their ship towards Calcutta and now Bangladesh, that ports. So they have to move to this direction, and these two were considered the major landmarks for them. Okay, so that was a general history of the temple, but the another history is that this temple is not survived to its original form. That is also the truth. It is been destroyed. It is been destructed by many invaders, especially one naming Kalabada. Now, Kalabada is actually a Jandaran. He is a converted Muslim, and he started the campaign of breaking down the Hindu temple in and around his region. So in the late 16th century, this temple was one of his target, and half, or you can say maximum, of the temple structure has been destroyed. What we see today is just half of it. And the sketch that you are seeing in the right hand side is one of the sketch that has been drawn by famous James Ferguson in the year 1847, after the temple destruction, which happened in the 16th century. The temple was built in the 13th century, and just 3 centuries later, it was just destructed. Okay, so now the picture that you were seeing in the screen is the plum leaf manuscript. So this script, or the manuscript, is being done in the year 1610, and it was commissioned, like commissioned by Raja Purushottam Deva of the Khurda dynasty to an artist, so that he can make, or he can draw the structure, like how the temple was, and the language or the references they have used here is Odia language, because we all know that the temple is existing in Odisha state and the language is Odia. But the twist is that the modern day Oriya, people can't read this properly as it is written in an old Oriya language, and it has been preserved in the museum today. People can go and see. So here also, this is actually the entire temple, how it was before its destruction. So as we all are aware how the ancient temples are built. So in north, it's a different style, the Nagara style, as we are aware. And in the south, it is the Dravidian style or the South Indian style. But in between, there are many styles, which is the Vesara style. It's a mix of both. Then this temple is also known as Dula style or Kalinga style of architecture. They have a very different style. When you look at the structures, all the structures of Odisha that were built during that time, or where the regions where Kalinga ruled, it covers today's Chhattisgarh, it also covers today's Andhra Pradesh. The Kalinga were ruling. So some of the structure that were built during that Kalinga period have a very unique pattern. So here in this diagram or in this sketch, you can see the Garbhagriha clearly, which is no more. It has been marked like cross, which are totally destroyed. Totally. We don't see anything. Only the base part is somewhat left. Then we have Jagamohana, or you can say the assembly hall or the mandapa in general. Then we have the horses that we see today also, but again, it is in the broken format or destructive format. Then we have lion, that is a bit of is surviving and maximum is been destroyed in today. Then we have the stamba, which is no longer existing. Then we have the Nath Mandapa, that is the dancing hall, which is somehow existing, not in its full form, but at least we can see. Then we can see the lions that is seen to be dragging the dancing hall, that the Nath Mahal. So this is the script. If you want, you can see this script live in the museum today, the Sun Museum. So with this, we come to the next section, that is the architectural features. But before that, anyone can unmute themselves, and if you have any query regarding the history, you can just ask or drop message in the chat box and ma'am can just let me know. Or we are good to go. Ma'am, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Participants, I request all of you to please share your thoughts, or if you have any queries up till now, you can share with madam. You can unmute yourself, or you can type your questions in the chat box, or else we can go further. So there are no questions in the chat box, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Good to go then.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So next is the architectural things, the features. So this is the aerial view of the Konark Temple. By this, we can say it is just spread it around acres or more than that. Now only this part has been guarded, but during that time, it may be spread it more. So here you can see the actually the second structure. This is not the main structure. Main structure was behind this, which is destructed. Okay. So the special features of this temple that we see nowadays is, of course, it is made with the Kalinga style of architecture. As Kalinga was a ruler of that time, they had a unique style of building in a stepwise. The thing is that in the Garbhagriha section, they will make it like a pagoda, the step-like section. Then the Shikhara is there, that is the top of the temple, the Jagamohan, where the gathering will be there. Like we go to any temple nowadays also, where we will stand in the hall side, not inside the main where the idol is been placed. The main place where the idol is placed is generally known as Garbhagriha. We will not enter that part, right? We will stand just next to that. That part is Jagamona, where the audience or the people have the gathering. Next, they have Nat Mandir, because in Odisha, there is a famous dance, right? And they used to patronize that. Then we have the Vimana. Vimana is the tower or the top of the temple. Okay. And legend also say that this temple is been made in such a way that the first light that comes from Lord Surya himself, it flows or it just shows in the Garbhagriha, where the actual idol of Lord Surya is being placed. Okay, directly hitting the rays of early morning. That is how beautifully this temple is been constructed. Now, who was the architect? It is said that the architect was Maharana Vishu. Later, there is also story that Maharana Vishu committed suicide. The reason is, uh, like, I will talk about this, then I will tell the reason. So if you see the picture in the left-hand side, I pointed out a magnet. So this is also said that there is a huge magnetic stone hanging in the top, in the crown part of the temple, which is around 52 metric tons. Now, what is 52 metric tons? We know 1 metric ton is 1,000 kilogram. If you people body weight is 40 or 50 kg, imagine 52 metric ton. So it is such a huge and enlarged stone, magnetic again. And then the grand idol, a huge idol of Lord Surya is being placed just below that. And it seems that the idol is floating in the air because of this magnetic effect. Okay, now coming back to the architect. Why the architect have committed suicide? This is again the local stories which I have heard from the people around there. The reason is it was a very complex thing how to place this 52 metric ton. Okay, it is not a very easy task. Like you are putting such a huge stone above the crown and something will be swing and it has to be steady also. Like it will not fall off for ages. So to fix this, the architects and the workers were not very you can say positive also in one sense, and they were very like in a very complexity how to place what will happen. So this problem has been solved by the architect Maharana Vishu son. He was only 12 years, so he gave some idea how to place so and so. So it has been done. The king of that time was very pleased. He awarded also the architect, but the conscience of the architect, that how he took help of 12 years son, and if people or the king come to know about the fact, what will happen? So by thinking all these things, negativity, he just committed suicide. So this is one of the story that is also associated with this temple. Now, we have seen the historical thing of this temple. We have also seen some of the architectural things, right? But
I'm
when
sorry
we
to
see
disturb you.
this temple, yeah,
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, network issue.
yes, yes.
I just missed the point. Why he committed suicide? That
Okay.
child of 12
So it
years
is,
old.
okay, ma'am. So this is again local stories I'm saying. Okay, there is no such proof. It's just local, like people will discuss now, it will pass on generation to generation, local folk, all this. So what is happening? These people were very getting scared also how to place, and the time was passing. The building time of the temple was passing. They were left with only 6 months time. So they couldn't figure it out how to place this magnetic stone over there. So the child has given some idea how to place. Matlab, he has basically solved the problem how to place. Some tricks or tips, something he has given to his father. Okay, how to place. And by his views or his trick, this has been executed. The stone has been placed properly. But the conscience in his heart, the architect is feeling guilty that if ever the king or the other people come to know that he has to take help from his 12 years son, a very small child, being such a good architect, people may kill him or they will just say bad about him. So his conscience only drag him towards negativity and he committed suicide. Is it clear? Hello? Is it clear?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So we have gone through how history have shown us the sun as a god and other histories in and around that there are references. We have also seen some, I will say some, uh, how the architecture things are happening, what are the features, what are the importance. Okay. But in older times, when a temple is being built, it is not only built for praying or worshipping. There was a hidden meaning, or you can say it is considered as a center of learning. So this is also one of the temples which has been a center of learning. When you go and visit that, you can observe actually all these things. So it has been divided into certain section, which we will go through in the next slides. So the first section is basically for the child who is below 5 or up to 5. The next section is, of course, for 6 to 10 years people. Third section, 11 to 15. Fourth section, 16 to 20. Fifth is 21 to 25. And after fifth, it is the sixth, which is the total. You are going above everything. So now we will understand what is happening. It is more of the picture kind. So when you see this in the temple, this carving of animals and other animals like monkeys, you will also see some of the carvings that where elephants are also tamed, like domesticating. Okay, so all these carving are actually at a height of 2 feet, like from where a child can easily see. And it also very interesting for the child, as we see nowadays in many cartoons also. They are seeing many animal things in the YouTube or in other animal books. So when we are considering this temple as a learning center, what is happening? We are getting informed. We are getting information about so many factors. So for the child who is below 5 years, he can easily see all this carving of different animals, different birds over there, and he can be informed how the animal is looking, and he is also fascinated by this. It is to his eye level. 2 feet matlab he can easily see things clearly. So this is the first level that we see in this temple. So in the next level, that is for 6 to 10 years, what we see is dancing, playing musical instruments. Why we are seeing in this level? Now also, when we see, if you are very willing that your child, your daughter, your son should go and learn some skill, you will put him or her in dancing, musical, or martial art also, right? When in this stage, because from this stage, if he starts learning, it will be very good. He can get all the information properly. So in this temple, if you go through, see, there are so many things, so many different postures of the dance form. The music, the people are playing different type of musical instruments. So we can see this at a height after 2 feet, because that is the actual height of 6 to 10 years, where these people can see very clearly. And it will be interesting also to them to learn all these things. There are more than 100 plus, actually 150 or around, this kind of stone carvings and different postures. Okay, this is a little quiz just to make the session interactive. So can anyone guess the traditional dance form of Odisha? Anyone in the chat box, or you can unmute and speak up. As we have just discussed that these are the posture, 100 plus different dance postures are there. So can anyone tell me the traditional dance of Odisha? Anyone can unmute themselves, or they can write in the chat box and ma'am can just read out.
Yes, Swati has written Kuchipudi.
Okay.
Odyssey?
Yes, absolutely. It is Odissi. This is the dance form. Okay. And this is what we see in the temple sculptures, temple carvings that we see. Different postures again. Okay. Now we are into the third group. In third group, when the child is in the teenage, we teach them martial arts. We also ask them go out, have some fun activity, because this is the correct age for their development. They do a lot of physical activity also. So after the second group that we have seen that people starting to learn dancing, singing, musicals, instruments playing, so and so. In this third, we are seeing that they are more into fun activity. They are more into physical activity also. They are learning different types of martial arts and all. And here in this image, if you see clearly, there is a tug of war, right? That we nowadays also we are playing that. And in the other image, we can see some kind of kusti, you can say, or boxing short of something is going on, right? So different types of this kind of skills is being shown in this temple carvings. Okay, so the next level is for the people between 16 to 20 years. So here, obviously, the teenage is now almost going to pass the teenage part. So he will be more intrigued by some technology, some scientific things. So in this temple, we also see this wheel, which is the main attraction of the temple. This dial or the sundial, as you can see, is huge. Huge, matlab it is 10 feet. 10 feet, you can imagine your room height tentatively. The height of your room is such a huge, right? And it has got certain beats, certain chakras, and which can actually now also, it can actually, again, plus minus will be there, say our day to day, our second time, minutes. So this is also interesting to know that how accurately this has been done by our ancestors. They don't have any tools as said previously. They don't have technology, but how scientifically they have given this information. Okay, so at this level, people are more towards the scientific things, right? They will be knowing astronomy, astrology, all these things. They will be knowing about the planets, so and so things will be happening. Now, this is again interesting. When you look at this temple, you will see that 7 horses are there. And it seems that these 7 horses are dragging the temple, which seems that this is not a temple, this is a chariot or rath that is being dragged by these horses. Now, the interesting fact is there is only 7. It is not 8. So again, the stories are there that if we see the sun god picture, we see that 7 horses are dragging the sun chariot. So it is depicting that. Plus, sometimes people also have said that this 7 days is represented by these 7 horses. And some also, like as I told, local folk stories, they also say that these 7 horses are painted in 7 different colors, like the indigo color, violet, yellow, white, so and so, right? So nowadays we don't see again. It's you can see in the image, it's totally the stone, it's not been painted, but previously it was, as said by the local peoples. But interesting fact is, we all are aware of Newton, right? So Newton only established the fact that light has got 7 colors, the Vibgyor thing. He only invented, or he discovered this thing. But this temple was built before Newton discovery. Newton discovered this around, you can say 1600 or so. But this temple was built 400 years before that. So how, again, the question comes, how our ancestors were so accurate. But here is a twist. Like we know nowadays, there are 7 days. People are referring this 7 horses for the 7 days of a week. But again, there are certain culture or religion in ancient times who used to believe that there is not 7 days, there is actually 8 days. So it is again contradictory. If you see the Indian context, it is coming to the same thing. 7 days in a week, 7 colors, 7 horses, we can understand. But in some of other culture, there is a difference. Some is considered 8 days in a week also. Okay, so now we have understood the chakras, right? Can anyone guess where can we, in which currency actually, Indian currency, we see this chakra? Anyone can unmute or they can type. Can anyone guess the currency note that we see this picture? Anyone can type or
Yes,
they can unmute themselves.
Moksha has written 20 maybe. Divya says
Okay,
24.
20. Okay.
It's
Okay.
on 10 rupee note, backside of the 10 rupee note.
Yes, great. So this is what we see. 20 is also correct, that in old note we have seen, and in new note of 10 rupees we are seeing, right? Okay, so coming to the next level, that is the 4th level. We already discussed 4th level, that there are fun activities and all. So in this level, people also, or the learners or the students, they also learn how to demonstrate things political. Like 2 region will be there, 2 kings will be there, how to politically balance these things. Then the war administration. In the pictures, in the first left-hand side, you can see the elephant, the kings, the giraffe also you can see. So you can see there is a relation between inter-state. I won't say state, it will be inter-country, because giraffe is something that has been brought from a different country, Africa. So there has been a relation between continent, between countries, between state. So from this level, people learn all these things. Then in the other picture, we can see the war administration, how it is taking place. Okay. And in this section also, we learn something that we call in modern days, fashion design or modeling. If you see this image, again, I collected all this image from the internet itself. So you can imagine the first lady that you see is wearing something like a skirt, right? The second lady also, third lady also, and fourth lady also. But the interesting fact is the pattern. See the third lady, how she is walking. It seems that some model is walking, right? So temple gives information of so many things, how that time also and how today people are dressing. Then fashion, other thing. You can see high heels. High heel is not a new invention. We can see this thing long back. See the sandal, how it is looking. Then the next image, which is in the right hand side, it seems that someone or some lady is holding a hand mirror. How can we imagine all these things when a temple is built in the 12th, 13th century? Maybe that mirror concept is also not developed at that time, but we can see all these things. Okay, so this is again a little above section. which is the fifth section, which is for 21 to 25 years old, where the right age for marriage, okay, for marriage, for intimacy, you can say. And this is one of the temple apart from Khajuraho, where you can see so much of information about sex education. Nowadays, people are putting this sex education from the school. They will give so many information, right? So this temple for this age, where is eye level, we can see all these things. There has been so many carvings about all these things, about sex things, because marriage is happening during this time, during this period. So you can see in the screen various types of carvings. So what happens these days? Marriage, intimacy, right? And there are many this kind of carvings if you go in and around. It is not only Khajuraho that we find, but apart from Khajuraho, this is one of the temples we can find most of this kind of carvings. Okay, so now the interesting fact about this, it has got doors, right? You can say. So southern side, we have one huge figure. Then in the west, we have another huge figure. And in the northern side, we have another huge figure. All the figures are of Lord Surya only. But look at the position, look at the face. What we see is when you talk about the first one, the southern one, it has got a very small crown. Whom we give a small crown when he is a prince, when he is a baby. Next, it is a big crown. That means he has attained the maturity. Then last is the preserver we consider. So it is now settling down, right? So these are the things that we see in the temple, so much of information. Now, if we see the faces clearly in this image, you can see the first face is considered the child face, second youth, and third is the old. That is how our life is. From this temple only, we can get a lesson of our life itself. Okay, this is the last layer, that once we attain 25 plus, we see the various types of God and sculptures of spirituality, because this is the last layer. We attain spirituality. We are moving towards moksha or meditation or towards the God. We start learning, understanding what God is. So if we are not distracted by the below layer, which is the erotic sculptures of the fifth level, then only we can attain this layer. So here we are more towards the learning thing, spirituality, meditation, God, and the last and the topmost layer. So these are some of the carvings, other carvings that we see in and around. Here also some of the sculptures that we find in the British Museum of Sun God and Ganesha also, that has been derived from the Konark. Okay, so this is the last section. So I would like to request a ma'am to, if anyone have any query regarding the previous section, they can just unmute and speak up, or they can drop the message in the chat box. Yes, anyone, any doubt, any query?
Yes, anybody have any doubts? You can ask to madam. You can unmute yourself, or you can share your thoughts, whatever you have learned.
Okay, I think nobody has any doubt. Then we are good to go in the last and the final section. That is local mysteries.
Yes, ma'am.
So, okay, so let's start. This is the final one. Okay, the local mystery is that this temple was destructed not only by the Muslim invader, but also by the Portuguese. Because what happened, like Portuguese sailor used to visit Calcutta or modern day Bangladesh, Chittagong, all those things. So they used to go via Bay of Bengal, and as I told, Jagannath Puri temple and this temple were the landmark. So the magnet, which we discussed previously, was the distraction, actually distracted them, or their ship would land in a different zone or different place, which was not part of their plan. So the Portuguese tried to destroy the temple also. So in that process, they have attacked many Devdasis. Devdasis were basically the people who used to serve the temple. Plus, they were also dancer. Like I told, there was a Nat Mahal. People used to learn dancing and all. So they killed many of them there. So the local story is that many of the spirits of these Devdasis and other people like still haunt. It's like a ghostly thing. People also find like they hear or they listen to the ghungru, the anklet bells ringing at night, or they have seen, some of the people also said that they have seen some figures floating in and around the temple. This is just a local mystery, you can say. Okay, so this is what the local mysteries are saying. And there is another fact. First is that so many Devdasis were killed and all, right? But there is another fact. When you go to any astrologer, this is a little different topic, but still associated with this temple. You have heard, many of the people may have heard about Visa Balaji. That if you visit that Visa Balaji temple, your visa will be clear, right? So similarly, such kind of things are also associated with this temple. So what is happening that many of the priest or astrologer give suggestion to the newly married couple who are not able to conceive child to visit this temple for 21 days and do parikrama. Parikrama means moving around the temple, you know, like in Hindu culture, we will do the parikrama, right? To move around the temple, do the parikrama morning and evening. So this is one of the remedy that they suggest. But now we can understand why this kind of things are given. Because we have seen the carvings, erotic carvings. Once we visit that, that is meant for marriage people only, right? Married people only. So once they see all these carvings, it's obvious that something will be happening, right? So this is another, you can say, fact which is associated. And this is the last thing, like it is also convert into a tourist attraction. People are coming for visiting, doing archaeological, they are doing their history studies, they are doing many things, but light show attraction is also now one of the part. At night, this kind of light show is been arranged from the government, ASI and all, so people can see all these things. So as I told that this fourth section is an extra. We have covered the history, we have covered the architecture, and we have covered the local mysteries also. But since we are having lack of time, quickly I'm just going over the other temples that India have. So I'm just focusing on the major temple. This is the map of India. Here you can see so many temples. So one by one, I'll just go through. This is Modera Sun Temple of Gujarat. Okay. This is Martang Sun Temple. It is in Jammu and Kashmir. You can see in the image how beautiful it was in the 1760 century AD, sorry, and how it is now currently. It is totally destroyed by the invaders. This is the Kartarmal Sun Temple in Uttarakhand. It's actually in, I think, Almora site. This is Sun Temple again in Bihar. This is Surya Narayan Temple in AP, Andhra Pradesh. Now this is again associated with the Kalinga or the Odisha Konark one. You can see the structure, the white structure. It looks like white pagoda again, right? because, as I told previously, the Kalinga dynasty was spreaded to AP also, and this was again patronized by the Kalinga people. So the structure is similar, the basic structure you can see. Then we have this Tamil Nadu Surya Narayan temple, then Surya Pahar temple in Assam. And these are some of the reference. You can just do the screenshot for your future references. These are some of the books you can read. And with this, thank you. You can share your thoughts now. If you have any query, doubts, anything. Yeah.
Yes, participants, if you have any doubts, you can ask to ma'am. You can unmute.
Hello. Hello,
Yes,
am I
ma'am.
audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, your lecture was wonderful, very enlightening, and I think this is the step in decolonizing the mind through Eurocentric perspective. Like,
Yes.
so informative. I have also visited, uh,
Mhm.
but the way you have explained everything from the perspective of education, really it made me proud about my culture, my India, and everything. Thank you so much for your wonderful research which you have done on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So, as I told in the beginning also that temples were not only meant for worship, it has a greater meaning, greater importance in our culture. Now, as I told, it has been destroyed. The temple is no longer in its original form. You cannot go inside also. The main fact is all the doors are sealed. You cannot go see what's actually inside. So much information you are getting from outside. Imagine if the temple would have been in its original form or anything, we would enter and see what's happening inside, how or what kind of knowledge or information we would have got till now, right? Anyone? Thank you all the participants for joining. It meant a lot to me. And please do share your thoughts. And if you want to get more information about anything, please let me know. I can be available. You can email me. It's Tapanwita Saha, same my name, Tapanwita Saha, TAPANWITASAHA @gmail.com.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We have shared feedback form link in the chat box. I request all the participants to fill up the feedback form. I'm also sharing a Facebook page link over here so that you can stay updated for future events.
I also thank Nucleus Learning Development and Rajvi ma'am for being a part and helping me out throughout the session. Thank you so much, ma'am. Can I leave, ma'am, or it's okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you all participants for joining. And the feedback form link is shared in chat box. I request all the participants to fill up the feedback form. And you can also follow our Facebook page for future events updates, and have a wonderful day.